Hi everyone. Let's discuss today the instrumentation and controls of a typical refrigeration systems, which are most common utility, which is also considered as a very important unit operation in any process industry. So almost every process industry will have the refrigeration systems, and instrumentation and controls are part and parcel of every refrigeration system because you are required to maintain the required chilled water temperature, required humidity levels when it comes to the air conditioning, and required cooling water that is coming out from the cooling tower and again going back from the condenser. And all these parameters ought to be controlled. Let's briefly discuss what are the typical instrumentation and controls involved in the refrigeration systems. So this is a typical plant you will see in any industry where you will have the evaporators and condensers, expansion valves and compressors basically. So if you see the simple principle of operation, you will have on one side, you will have the evaporator, which is again a heat exchanger. On the other side, you will have the condenser, which is again a heat exchanger. And you will have a compressor and expansion valve. So there are four very important elements in a typical refrigeration system, which is a compressor, which is basically a prime mover pumping the refrigerant, sucking from the evaporator and pumping to the condenser. So while sucking the refrigerant from the evaporator, it is lowering the pressure within the evaporator, and while pumping the refrigerant to the condenser, it is sending it at a high pressure. So high pressure, it actually removes the heat from the condenser. At low pressure, it absorbs the heat from the surroundings. That's the basic quality of a refrigerant because it evaporates at very low pressure, its boiling point being less than the room temperature. And when the pressure is lowered, it evaporates. When it evaporates, it absorbs the heat from the surroundings. Thereby the ambient air gets cooled and cool air to inside. Okay, so the compressor sends the compressed refrigerant into the condenser, and here we have to remove the heat from the thing either through a fan, ambient air sending the warm air outside, and then the condensed refrigerant comes through the expansion valve where it is the pressure again is expanded. So thereby the releasing the pressure when it comes inside the evaporator. Okay, so this is how the cycle, you will see the refrigerant in the blue is in almost a cool refrigerant, and red is in hot refrigerant. Okay, hot refrigerant on top, and you have a warm refrigerant at the bottom. When it goes beyond the expansion valve, it becomes a cold refrigerant. Then after the evaporate, it becomes cool refrigerant. Okay, so you have the fans here. So this is a very basic principle of operation of a refrigeration system, how it works. Then this is again another thing where we have a evaporator here, and primary return from this heat rejected to refrigerant from primary flow where it absorbs the heat, and your compressor here doing the same thing. It is sucking the refrigerant from the evaporator, thereby lowering the pressure inside the evaporator for the refrigerant to get evaporated at the low pressure. Okay, then pumping it here, and compressor motor plays a very important prime mover role here. And at condenser again, from cooling tower, you are getting the water and again taking out the heat. So again sending back through the expansion valve. So this is a very important chiller operation. And if you see again, it's another way of representing at the evaporator heat from the ambient air evaporates the liquid refrigerant, thus cooling the air. The compressor circulates the refrigerant gas and compresses it, increasing its pressure and making the hot gas similar in effect to an air pump when inflating the tire of a bicycle. At the condenser, ambient air cools and liquefies the hot refrigerant gas inside, which then re-enters the refrigerant cycle. As seen in a domestic refrigerator, the inside is kept cool as heat is expelled. So that's a very simple principle of operation. Again, water-cooled chiller working principle, you have another representation where we have the diagrammatic representation. A typical compressor may look like this, and a condenser is a heat exchanger process through the expansion valve, a simple expansion valve, and then the evaporator. If you see the you have a pressure control here. Basically, when the expansion valve is going, you have the pressure control here. And again, you are sensing the pressure control across the compressor. You are sensing the pressure control across the evaporator. And at the evaporator, you have the cooling water coming through the water pump and coming out of it. So inlet cooling water going away. And here you have cooling water coming inside and sending. Cooling water from cooling tower, it is can get hot, warm water going up. So this is a very simple water cycle working principle in another way. To see the typical controls, what we have is, we have a temperature control at the fan, because basically to sense the evaporator temperature, and then you have a suction pressure control here at the compressor. Okay, because we have the suction pressure is controlled basically by keeping any one of the either inlet or exhaust valves of the, basically the inlet valve of the piston that is sucking inside the compressor, that suction pressure is controlled here. Okay, so then we have a condenser pressure control within the condenser. Then we have a fan which is basically cooling the condenser, and expansion valve here. You will see the control here. The superheat is controlled by controlling the valve, which is through which the refrigerant is sent inside the evaporator. To what extent this valve is open, that decides the superheat control of the refrigerant that is flowing inside. That thus basically decides the temperature that is inside the refrigeration. So schematically, you have a suction line, compressor, again sending back to the condenser. You will see here dotted bubbles gets condensed, comes in the liquid line, and again it becomes evaporated, becomes again a gas suction line. This is another way of representing this. Okay, so this is just an add-on. We have a packaged air conditioning system for which refrigeration is a must. So this entire portion is indoor, what we have here, this indoor. You may have a compressor and then pressure. This is a forced evaporator. You will see here from the condenser, it is coming through the, you have different valves here. It is coming here, expansion valve, and you are distributing it to different coils here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, everything is joining here in a simple header. And then it is going, coming back, a portion of it is taken back and again sent continuously. And then it is sent to the compressor, and which is sucking from this and again pumping this in a hot refrigerant to a condenser. And again here you have another water condenser water pump, which is sucking from the cooling tower, is always situated outside thing. And this cooling tower, you are sending it again, cooling the refrigerant going up here. So this, what is happening inside is, as long as your evaporator is inside the room, and that evaporator is cooling the air, ambient air that is in the room, because the chilled refrigerant is getting evaporated within the coils, and that evaporating refrigerant absorbs the air that is surrounding this evaporator. And that's how the entire room gets cooled. That's a very typical application of a or a working of a packaged air conditioning system. Then if you see the thermostatic expansion type system, we have a condenser receiver, which is a pressure control valve and evaporator. And this pressure control valve basically controlling the pressure in a direct expansion system, where the compressor coming to the receiver and opening and closing of this pressure control valve basically decides the entire pressure that is getting circulated within the refrigeration system. That also decides what is the evaporator temperature inside the evaporator, because the more pressure or less pressure, that basically decides. But when it comes to thermostatic expansion, you will see at the exit of the evaporator, you will have a thermostatic bulb, basically thermostat. And that is basically controlling the temperature control valve, opening more or less basically by sensing the evaporator. This is a closed loop control at the evaporator. This is one control that we have for a thermostatic expansion system. Then here expansion valve system for low evaporator drop with water regulating system. You have a suction control valve here. And you have another, anyway, this is a condenser receiver pressure control valve at this, basically for the condenser control. At the evaporator, you have again the thermostatic system, which is sensing and adjusting the section of the section control valve of the pressure control valve, expansion valve. Okay, so this is another expansion valve system for high evaporator drop. This is a low evaporator drop, and this is a high evaporator drop. For low evaporator drop, you have the sensing at a very close to the evaporator exit. But whereas for a high evaporator thing, you have a pressure sensing low or high, which actually controls the system of a control valve by sensing the temperature and again controlling the suction valve, everything remaining the same. So the pressure sensing low or high, that is decided at the high evaporator drop with overload protection. This basically given as for overload protection. And refrigerated water, if you are doing it for water, you are cooling the water using the evaporator. This is a typical control that is used. So you have a evaporator thermostat at the exit of the evaporator, which is controlling the suction control valve. Again, you have a flow control valve, basically giving whether it is a symbol for temperature switch for high or low. Okay, so that you are sensing by taking in the refrigerated water outside of the temperature water. Refrigerated water is sensed to indicate the temperature status high or low, then accordingly controlling the flow of the refrigerant to the evaporator. That's how we are basically controlling the refrigeration system. So apart from this, you also have a compressor controls basically to sense pressure switch high or pressure switch low. This is basically to control the speed of the motor in order to, there are two controls for the compressor. One, you control the speed of the motor. Another, you control the suction valve of the compressor in order to not to compress the refrigerant. That's another way of controlling the refrigeration. So this is all about the instrumentation and control involved in the industrial refrigeration system. Thank you very much.